All right, Eric Arnold here in the Politics Barn. Wee hours of the morning on the 25th of January. I think that's Thursday. So I guess what's up first, New Hampshire. The results in New Hampshire. Well, I would say it's kind of a neutral result. Certainly not the knockout that Donald Trump was hoping for. He can spin it however he wants, but it's not a knockout at all. The polls had him upwards of 60%. He came far short of that. The final results, Trump 54.3, Haley 43.3, so an 11-point win for Trump. I guess, maybe Trump's a victim of expectations here in that for a while there, some people, including myself, were saying that Haley had a good chance to win New Hampshire, and she fell far short of that. So by that measuring stick, it was a good night for Trump. I don't know it was a bad night for Trump. In other words, he didn't lose. Haley giving her speech alleging in some fashion that she had won. Well, now that's nonsense too. So let's keep it real here. Trump, the winner, did not exceed expectations. Unfortunately, I think it would have been best for all involved had Trump just blown her out of the water. But he didn't, and now Haley's going to hang around. I don't know where this goes in that I don't see a path to victory for Haley. There are just not enough Haley voters in the Republican Party. The vast majority, well, drop the vast, we'll say majority of the Haley voters are independents and Democrats. New Hampshire's an open primary, which means anybody can vote in either primary. And since there was no action going on in the Democrat primary, a lot of Democrats crossed over and voted in the Republican primary. People are making, especially in the Haley camp, people are making a lot of hay in that they would vote for Biden over Trump. I don't think that's the correct question that should be asked of these Haley voters. The question that should be asked is, if it was Haley versus Biden, who would you vote for? And I suspect the majority of them would say Joe Biden. So this idea that Haley has this untapped, vast reservoir of independence that is going to make her the formidable candidate in the general election, I don't see that. As I said again and again, the big guns have never been trained on Nikki Haley. No one has really taken her to task like a presidential candidate who is running in the general election. She has not gone through that crucible of fire yet. So she is the most popular she will ever be is right now. If she would win the nomination, she would be just trashed from pillar to post. And I don't think she would hold up very well, frankly. Just from what little I've seen of her in the primary, that she has a bad habit of speaking on both sides of an issue and then treating you like an idiot, like you didn't hear her speak on both sides of the issue, as if there's not videotape or a newspaper article to prove that she said what she said. She'll say something like, well, I never said that. You're a liar if you say I said that. And it's like, and then up comes the videotape and she said exactly what she's denying that she said. People change their minds, so the better answer in those situations is just to say, well, my answer has evolved since then. I've changed my mind somewhat on that topic. The problem is that she changes her minds on a lot of topics, and probably has no core set of principles other than I need to serve my donors and keep my ass in position to be elected to the next office, which is not going to inspire anybody. So Haley's a poor candidate. Now, Trump, he wants her to drop out. I said that Trump wants the Haley money, or I should perhaps say he needs the Haley money if he's going to beat Biden, in that Biden has this unbelievably massive war chest. Think about every rich person you could possibly name, and they're probably giving money to Joe Biden. Furthermore, you've got these massive public service unions like the Teachers Association, the service, the government union, I forget the name of the government unions, but they're vast, they're huge. So he has huge sums of money at his fingertips from the George Soros, Mark Zuckerberg, Bezos, Bill Gates. The list goes on and on and on. About the only oligarch that's not in Joe Biden's pocket is Elon Musk. So Trump has no real way to combat that other than just trying to hustle up bucks wherever he can. Well, maybe not. You know, here Trump said this tonight on his, whatever the hell he calls his version of Twitter or X. This is Donald Trump. Quote, Nikki Birdbrain Haley is very bad for the Republican Party and indeed our country. Her false statements, derogatory comments, and humiliating public loss is demeaning to true American patriots. I don't know why her losing is demeaning to me, but whatever, he continues. Her anger should be aimed at the third-rate political consultants and, more importantly, crooked Joe Biden and those that are destroying our country, not the people who will save it. That's all in capitals. I knew Nikki well. She was average at best, is not the one to take on world leaders, and she never did. That was up to me, and that is why they respected the United States. When I ran for office and won, I noticed that the losing candidate's donors would immediately come to me and want to, quote, help out, unquote. This is standard in politics, but no longer with me. Anybody that makes a contribution, quote unquote, to Birdbrain from this moment forth will permanently be barred from the MAGA camp. Let me read that again. Anybody that makes a contribution to Birdbrain from this moment forth will be permanently barred from the MAGA camp. We don't want them and will not accept them because we put America first and always will. Donald J. Trump. There you go. Unite the clans. Unite the clans. Donald J. Trump, our hero. Nah, we don't need them. Of course we don't need them. What a clown. I swear to God. You know, 2020 should have been a layup. It should have been an absolute layup. Just about any incumbent president would have been reelected, but not Donald J. Trump. And now we're stuck with this guy. We don't need that money. No, of course not. When you're being buried on the airwaves here in Pennsylvania in a few months, a Biden or a communist ad running every 3 minutes, and you're nowhere to be seen, no, we won't need that advertising. Of course not. Now, to be fair, I have seen another article, and I forget where it was. It might have been Bloomberg or the Wall Street Journal, that other mega donors on Wall Street, and I read you in the last episode, 4 dudes that were lining up to give to Haley, Druckenmiller, Kravitz, Langone, and Asnes. So those 4, maybe, he's talking about those 4, maybe not. But other oligarchs on Wall Street, and not the super rich oligarchs like I already mentioned, they're already in the Biden camp. I'm talking, you know, mid-major oligarchs, minor league oligarchs. These guys are kind of saying, all right, well, we're not going to, according to the article, that we're going to either sit out, we're not going to back the Democrats directly just in case they lose, or we might even throw a few bucks Trump's way just to kind of hedge our bets. So it sounds like Trump might catch some Wall Street money despite himself, but you can't win in politics without money. And this guy doesn't spend his own money. You know, he's allegedly a billionaire, but, you know, we sure don't see it. He doesn't advertise like he's a billionaire, that's for sure. I guess he's waiting for his poor-ass MAGA group, of which most people don't have two nickels to rub together, to donate to him, or buy his action figure or whatever, so he can run with that money. But yeah, I found that just, it's like, man, dude. So I don't know where, you know, what he's saying here to people that would vote for Nikki Haley. I guess in a way, he could probably insult Haley as much as he wants, because I don't think she really has a fan club per se. I mean, people are not voting for Haley. They're voting against you, Donald. How are you going to get those people? I erased the board. How are you going to get Jerry to vote for you? Because Jerry beat you last time. Him and others like him. Here in Pennsylvania, in the swingiest of swing states, oh, by the way, there was a poll that came out here this week, and it was by the Susquehanna polling. They're notoriously leaning communist. Nevertheless, you can't like look at polls that you like and say that's great, and then see other polls that you don't like and say that didn't count. So Susquehanna, the polls skewed, but it had Trump down 8 here in the swingiest of swing states in Pennsylvania. How are you going to get these mushy, whatever you want to call them, independents here in Berks and Bucks and Chester and Montgomery County? How are you going to get these guys to vote for you? Huh? I'm still waiting on that one. So he needs those guys. Someone like a Haley speaks to these people like Jerry. I guess he's pretty much 86ing Haley off as a vice president candidate. Fine, you know, Tucker Carlson will be happy. Rand Paul will be happy. Should I be happy? I don't know. I want to win. I want to win. This is going to be such a bad thing for this country if we got to go another 4 years with these Marxists in control. If they get control of the Supreme Court, I don't think this country will be recognizable in 30 years. It's barely recognizable now. And if they had control of the Supreme Court, well then, I mean, things like this Colorado decision to remove Donald Trump from the ballot simply because they feel like it, that would stand. That would be the law. The Supreme Court wouldn't overturn that. A leftist or a Marxist Supreme Court will simply serve power. It will simply be a rubber stamp of the communists in power. The game is over at that point. The Marxists already control damn near every institution of power in this country. Probably the only one they don't is the Supreme Court. That's pretty much the last man standing. They control the military, they control the Congress, they control the executive branch, they control the lower circuits of the court system. 2/3 of attorneys are Marxists or Democrats. We'll say Democrats, although I would think your chances of being a Marxist if you're an attorney are much greater than if you're just a plumber. The educational system they control, the corporations they control. I said the educational system, the unions they control. Damn, I mean, is there anything they don't control? I guess they don't control the rural countryside. That's like the one place where they haven't being able to control. That's why they call it flyover country, because it's simply not important to them. But everything else in this country, the banks, they control it all, with the exception of the Supreme Court, which is pretty much the only thing left between them and a complete communist takeover. So yeah, let's go ahead and lose another election, and let's see if we can survive another 4 years without losing control of the last thing we have, stopping these bastards. All right, so yeah, I don't know. I guess Haley's done as far as Trump goes. I mean, he could put her on the ticket today and unite the clans. In other words, we could then go ahead and focus on the Democrats, which would be an ideal time to do it, because I think they're in a little bit of disarray right now. They don't know who their nominee is. They're nervous that Biden is behind in the polls. I don't think they're a united team. Hell, one of their guys, let's see, we get this here. Here we go. Dean Phillips, he's the congressman who is running against Biden, and no one knows who he is, so it's almost just like, he's just there. He said, and I don't know what his point is here, or I should say what his objective is as a Democrat, but he said, quote, "My party is completely delusional," unquote. And he's talking about how his party sees Republicans, or how they see the Trump voter, in that he went to a MAGA rally in New Hampshire, and guess what he did not see? People goose-stepping or giving the Hitler salute or any of that other crap and absolute lies and nonsense that the Democrat media spews every day. It's all lies, and he's calling them out on it. Now, I don't know what he's thinking here. I mean, this is just good cop, bad cop, and he's being the good cop while Joe Biden and Rachel Maddow are the bad cop. You're a fascist. You're not a fascist. You want to kill everyone. You're a totalitarian. Well, we may have misjudged you somewhat. I'm not sure. It's refreshing to hear a Democrat say that. It's like, is that possible that the entire elected group of Democrat politicians, they're not all absolute lying Marxist animals? So, that's hopeful. Yeah. And this type of thing is where it's been a while since I've made these remarks, but this lawfare, and I keep coming back to that thinking, well, we're coming to it. I mean, this is kind of like in World War II, they called it the phony war. The phony war took place from, say, October of 1939 to May of 1940. The Germans ran over Poland in about 2 weeks, and then nothing happened. Even though everybody was at war with each other, nobody was really shooting it out, and there were no front lines, and it was just sort of like, well, all right, you're standing there, I'm standing here, and we're supposed to be trying to kill each other, but right now we're not doing anything. So it's just, we're not really at war, but we said we are. And so they called that the phony war. Well, that's what is happening right now, in that the Democrats declared war when they indicted Trump 4 times for, 100 counts, 91 counts, whatever. So war's been declared. We know it. We're not happy about it. But right now we're just sitting there waiting. All right, I guess we're going to have to go to war here soon and duke it out. That's coming. And when it does come, it's going to be ugly. There's going to be a lot of hard feelings in this country. And I'm not talking about just people not liking what's said on TV. I'm talking about people not liking what's said at the dinner table. People not liking what's said in their barbershops, at their hairdressers, what their doctor says. Anybody that drops any kind of an inflammatory comment in amongst friends is likely to end friendships. I'm telling you, the feelings are that strong on the Republican side. Whatever the Democrats think of abortion, multiply it times 10. I am not kidding you. That's how we feel about this. And we're right about this. What you Democrats are doing here with this lawfare is beyond the pale. It's never been done before. And you could really, really be starting some ugly, nasty stuff in this country. And there's no reason for it. So we're bitter and we're angry. And we want to beat you in the worst possible way in November. Absolutely. So Mr. Phillips here, seems to maybe perhaps sensing some of that. Jamie Dimon, another Democrat oligarch, he runs J.P. Morgan. He made comments similar to this along the lines of, we're really, really going too far here, whipping up this hatred against half the country. You don't think that half of the country is going to strike back? You don't think they're going to be embittered by this attack, ceaseless, endless attacks on half the country, calling half the country traitors? Wow. So I'm kind of thinking maybe somewhere, some of these Democrats are actually, I don't think they, maybe possibly, I don't know, Mr. Phillips, maybe possibly he actually feels guilty a little bit about what's going on, thinking this is bad and this is going to lead to some really terrible things. Or he just wants to win and he figures we're going too far and we're overselling our hand and we're going to lose. I saw a poll out, it's been making the rounds in the conservative media, and you may have seen this or not, and it was so shocking to me, I wanted to bring it to your attention. It was done by Scott Rasmussen, and let me see if I can find it. Here we are. Now this was done in September of 2023. He somehow managed to get, how many did he survey? Looks like 1,000. 2,000, two separate surveys, 1,000 each, so that'd be 2,000. And he calls them the elites. He surveyed the elites. Now this is how he defines an elite. Postgraduate degree, household income of more than $150,000 annually, and living in a zip code with a population density of 10,000 people or more per square mile. So, and he says approximately 1% of the population meets this criteria. So, highly educated, making a good sum of money, living in the city. Elites, these are what he calls them. So here are some of these questions. Now, 73% of these people are Democrats. Now, I don't know if that surprises you. It doesn't surprise me at all. So, elite. You can read that as highly educated, rich person living in city. 73% Dem, 14% GOP. So some of these questions are just, for example, question, are your finances getting better or worse right now? For me, my finances have since Biden's been elected, have been getting worse. I would say that 2/3 of American families at some point in the last 2 years have had a, oh my God moment, whether that be at the grocery store where they get the bill, or at the gas pump, or when the electric bill or the gas bill comes in the mail, or something where they go, holy shit, what the hell costs so much all of a sudden? And then they start doing the math and going, oh, where's the money going? Oh my God. The guy at the McDonald's that got the double quarter pounder meal with the big fry and the big soda, and it cost $16. He's part of the 2% or 2/3. He looked at that and went, holy shit, and posted it online saying $16 for a McDonald's meal? That's crazy. Of course it's crazy. Welcome to Bidenomics. So, yeah, hell no, my finances aren't getting better. My finances are getting worse. We've had to cut, just to keep our freaking feet, head above our feet. And most families are doing the same thing. So, normal people, let's put that here, normal, elite. So normal people, it's 40% worse, 20% better, and then the rest is who knows? They don't know. They don't know. The elites, 0% worse, 74% better. So they're making out like bandits. We're getting screwed, and the elites are making out like bandits, and they know it. Individual freedom. Do you have too much liberty or not enough liberty? Or you said another way, is there too much freedom or not enough freedom? Well, normal people, we say 57% not enough, and 16% too much. (57 to 16). The elites have it backwards. They say that not enough, 21%, too much, 47%. So, opposite. They think there's too much freedom. Now here's some really one. This is what these people believe in. Above and beyond anything else is climate change. I don't know how or why, and if they believe it, or they cynically just know it's a pathway to total control, more so than they already have. In other words, well, we can just declare a climate emergency and just run the COVID playbook on all these peasants and just force them to do whatever the hell we want them to do because it's an emergency. You know, that would be the cynical view. I would say probably 2/3 of them believe that, and the other third are actually stupid enough to believe that there's climate change. So the question here is, would you favor or oppose strict rationing of gas, meat, and electricity to combat climate change? 63% no. 28% yes. Which is kind of scary that 28% of normal people would just say yes to that there's that many idiots out here in normal land. But at any rate, there you go. 63% would not favor any kind of rationing, whereas 28% would. The elites, 77% want rationing, whereas only 22% say no. So a massive amount of these elites want less meat consumption, less gas consumption, less electricity consumption. Now, of course, what's unsaid there is certainly not our consumption. My goodness, no. I'm not going to fly commercial to Davos. I'm taking my private jet, as they always do. Rules for thee, certainly not for me. So these are the people that run this country. These are the people that are ramming all these rules and regulations down our throat. These are the people that are wrecking this place and have been for the last 50 years. The elites. They're bastards. They should be torn out of their ivory towers and cast down amongst the trash. That's where they belong. Probably one of the biggest failings of this country is when our elites turned into garbage humans it's, I think it could be argued at some point that the elites in this country weren't totally trash garbage humans, and the country was much better for it. But at some point here in the past 50 years, these elites have turned into garbage people, and the entire country is obviously suffering for it. But you get the point. Another question that was, who's more responsible, or who should be allowed to dictate what's taught to our children? Parents or teachers? Well, normal people say parents. The elites say teachers. Here's probably the last one I'll give you, is what they think of what they hold in esteem here. All right, here we are. All right, lawyers. What do you think of lawyers? Normal people like lawyers, 47%. The elites, 91% like, or I'm sorry, 78% like lawyers. So 47 for normal people, 78% for the elites. They like lawyers. Union leaders, 43% like union leaders as far as normal people go. 78% of elites like union leaders. What about journalists? 44% of normal people. The elites, 79%. Members of Congress, 28% of normal people have any kind of good feelings towards members of Congress. The elites, 67%. Now, Rasmussen goes one even better. If you've read this study in detail, he goes one better. He has a subset of the elite set where he takes, remember what it was, postgraduate degree, $150,000 worth of income, living in 10,000 density per square mile city. He then has a subset of that saying, did you go to an Ivy League school? And he defines that as the Ivy Leagues plus Stanford and Duke, which are, I guess, elite schools, if you will. The results are even worse for them. I mean, it's crazy how bad it is. Those people like Congressman, 86%, 90% of them want rationing for climate change. It's insane. And those are the people that rule us. So, anytime one of these people starts spouting off about we need to do this, you need to do that, all I do is go to their Wikipedia page, look at where they come from, look at who they are, and I'll know right away if they're one of these people or not, and I know they're my enemy. It's like, that person hates me. That person wants me dead. That person wants to put me in chains, wants to restrict my freedom, wants to take away my right to speak, wants to take away my gun. That person wants to put me in the gulag down with the other J6ers. So I have no respect for any of these people. They're our enemies, basically. Yeah, I hate to use terminology like that, but these are the people that are putting our candidate, the one we want to win the presidency, on trial for his life. How can I say anything about these type of people other than they're my enemy? They're treating me certainly as I am their enemy. That's my guy up there representing me. Donald Trump is my candidate. And the candidate for 70, 80, 90 million other people, and you want to put him in jail for the rest of his life for bullshit that no one else would ever have been charged with, and ever has been charged with, ever will be charged with, for just trumped up garbage, lawfare. But you're not my enemy? The hell with that. You are my enemy. So, yeah. We draw a line there between these garbage bastards and the general Democrat voter. Jump off this elite-driven crap ship you're on, Democrat voters. Come over to the normal people's side. It's not that bad over here. It really isn't. We're not fascists. We don't want to kill you. We just want to be left alone. I thought about that as far as, I've got a good number of Democrats in my inner circle. And I'm thinking about the upcoming war that's coming, lawfare war, where Trump is tried for his life. And I'm supposed to just sit there and sit like it's normal and just smile. And, when that topic comes up, I'll just say nothing because I don't want to start a fight or be inflammatory. My mother sitting next to me, perhaps if I say anything, she'll get upset. So we just have to be all happy. Meanwhile, of course, I'm boiling inside knowing that this is outrageous what's going on, and I want everyone to know it is. But no, we got to be polite. So, and I'm thinking about this, and at some point, these Democrat voters probably will figure it out. And it'll be too late when they do, of course. The ramparts will have fallen at that point, and this country will be a hardcore totalitarian state by then. And they're going to say to themselves, what happened? Why all of a sudden, I just offered a benign opinion online and I got an email saying my taxes are going to get audited if I don't sit down and shut up. And I didn't think what I said was that outrageous. Well, when did they start, doing this? Well, it's like, when did they start doing this? We're the party pal. Of course, we'll be long gone, us type of people. They'll have either shut us up or stripped us of everything we had or hit us so hard we'll never speak up ever again. But at some point, these Democrats will wake up, the ones that aren't the hardcore true believers. And then they'll realize, oh my God, I've been had. They won't admit it. That's the type of thing you don't admit openly. You just kind of, like Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, in a place deep down that you don't talk about at parties, you're going to know that, man, I really made a mistake there. We really screwed up throwing this country away. And why? Because we really thought Donald Trump was a Hitler? We didn't really believe that, but we did it, we went along with it. So I don't know what goes on now. Like I said, now would be an ideal time to attack the ununified Democrats. But I don't think it's going to happen because Haley's still there. And right now, she's helping the Democrats. She's carrying their water. And I don't know how much longer she's doing that for. This is where you'll be able to tell if she has any core values or not. If she just persists just to persist, well, then she's doing it all for herself. She's hurting the Republicans' chances to win the general election. She's keeping money that would probably go to Trump to fight Biden. She's keeping that money from going to him. She's getting it instead to fight Trump. It's like, you should be helping this guy. So, Haley's future at that point, she'll have a future. She'll have a talking head job anytime she wants it on any of the Democrat media channels. She may attempt to perhaps be an ambassador or a cabinet member of a Democrat administration. That's not beyond the realm of possibility as a payoff for her assistance in hurting Trump. But like I said, you'll know whose bidding she's doing if she hangs around. She will reveal herself as a Democrat plant, basically, if she continues to hang around. She has no way to win the nomination, and she's just going to anger everyone that's trying to beat Biden by not helping us. So, she wants any future in Republican politics. She needs to drop out now. I don't think she's going to, though. I don't think she is. DeSantis did, but Haley, I don't think she's going to. I really don't. All right, well, we'll have more episodes. The war is just getting going here. Like I said, the lawfare war, that's about to kick off here within the next 6 weeks or so. So, whoopee, that'll be exciting. I believe in free speech, even if the Democrat elites certainly don't. I'll be here as long as they let me afford me the right to speak freely. I imagine at some point they'll take that away, just like they did in COVID. But until that point, I'll be back. Eric Arnold, signing off.